but I understand why it's being asked. Here we go. Daniel wants to know, if you had the power to remove Tony Khan as booker of AEW, who would you have take his place? And this isn't an easy answer, Eric, but you've been a part of a lot of booking teams and booking committees. But if you weren't going to go to a team, you weren't going to go to a committee, and you're going to say, I'll put all my faith and confidence in this one guy. Once upon a time, we might have said something like Kevin Sullivan. Sadly, he's no longer with us, and I don't know that he would have been able to perform, at that level in recent years anyway. But is there someone out there that you think, man, that guy's an untapped resource for creative? He'd be a home run as the sole booker for a promotion like AEW.
Bully Ray.
Okay. Didn't expect that from you. Can you expand on that?
I'm actually surprised. Excuse me. This is so rude.
It's not rude at all, Eric. We appreciate you hitting that mute button. Thank you so much.
No, I'm often surprised when people ask a question similar to that, or there's a general discussion about creative and, who should be doing what and who could have some positive impact. I had a chance to work with Bully in TNA on a number of different storylines, but the one in particular with Aces and Eights. And it might have been my idea. It's kind of like the NWO. It might have been my idea to begin with, but as the story evolved, it was as much Bully's idea oftentimes as it was mine. Once we kind of got the ball rolling and Bully could see the picture, he saw the vision, he understood the characters, because Bully wasn't a biker kind of guy. It wasn't his culture. So once he kind of got a feel for what we were doing, and Jason Hervey was instrumental in that as well, he embraced it. And then as we started talking about the long-term ideas and hey, what if we do this? What if we do that? Just collaborating, right? I started to listen to Bully and get a feel for the talent that he has in that respect. And the more I heard, it was more like, well, here's some more rope, dude. Wait, would you take mine? Because you're better at pulling that rope than I am right now in this. He's really, he sees the big picture. He understands story structure. He may not talk to you about it in those terms, but when you listen to him talk about laying out a long-term story and the way to do it, you begin to hear, oh, well, that's a plot point. Oh, I see what he's doing there. Okay, this is an act one idea. He doesn't present it that way, but that's what he's doing inherently. So he understands long-term story and the value in it. He understands the wrestling audience. And that's where I think maybe even, secondary to I think his first just intuitive talent, instinct. Bully understands the audience. He understands the audience he's trying to entertain. Tony doesn't understand the general audience. Tony understands very well one aspect of it. But unfortunately, that one aspect isn't big enough it's not sustainable. Whereas Bully, he sees that part of the audience. He won't neglect them, but he's not going to cater to them because he understands if there's 10 people in that bucket, there's 150 in this other bucket. So let's get 160 in the bucket. That's the approach Bully would take. And he has the respect of talent because that's important. It's like a director showing up on a movie set and all the actors and actresses go, fuck him. I don't care what he says. I'm going to go out there and do what I want to do. I know my character. Besides that, I'm up for another movie. And if I do what he wants me to do, I may not get that part. Fuck that. You need a director that can not only get the best out of the talent, but also keep the talent on the tracks. So I think Bully, for those reasons, and probably we could do a half hour on why I think Bully would be the guy. Yeah, Bully. There's nobody even close, in my opinion.
I wanted to ask you, Eric, I've had a bunch of really pleasant experiences with Bully Ray. And I know that some people have already decided that they don't like Bully Ray for whatever reason. I think that's silly. But I hear a lot of negativity about Bully. And I hear people sort of repeat it but I've never had not one bad experience with Bully Ray. So I wanted to ask you, why do you think that there is this narrative out there about Bully? Is it because that, he's opinionated and he's not afraid to share his opinion? Is it the harder New York edge? He's not afraid to hurt some feelings, and he takes hey, if you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. But I hear some negativity slanted in that direction. Like, I know there's going to be AEW hardcores who are listening to our show, and maybe some of you hate listen, and we thank you nonetheless. But they're going to say, "Oh my God, keep Bully Ray away from AEW." I see that all the time online.
Yeah.
Why do you think that narrative exists?
Because Bully doesn't bullshit. There's a filter with Bully. You can have a very highly intellectual conversation or debate or argument with Bully. He's very, very smart guy. But in his normal course of conversation, he's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's going to tell you what he thinks. And Bully's a big guy. He's physically intimidating to a lot of people. And yeah, he's from New York, so that probably adds about 15 or 20% of, hotter sauce. But Bully's just one of those guys that doesn't pull punches outside of the ring. I don't know about inside of the ring. I've heard stories, but Bully will just tell it like he sees it. And most people don't like that. They're uncomfortable with truth and fact and non-filters. They're just so used to being bullshitted that as soon as you stop bullshitting them, they get uncomfortable. They think you're a bully. No, it's just he likes to tell people what he thinks and how he feels, and he does it very directly. Most people can't handle that. Or maybe they're just uncomfortable around it because it's different.
Yeah. SaveWithConrad.com.
I'm Andy Cleveland from Appleton, Wisconsin. Longtime listener of the podcast. I listen to Something to Wrestle With, hearing all of the ads and things. We're at a spot where we wanted to refinance, and I know that's something that Conrad talks quite a bit about. We figured we'd give it a shot. I had a series of surgeries that were in a 15-month window, and it put us quite a bit with credit card debt. We had a lot of equity, over the years that built up in the house, so we wanted to take the equity out of the house and to pay off all those high interest credit card debts and get things back down to a manageable level per month. We worked with Larry and then Francis. It was awesome. Talking with Larry, everything was very helpful. Emails were fantastic, telling us what we needed to do. Francis was there to kind of nudge us along if we were dragging our feet a little bit. There's different forms and paperwork and things that you have to fill out. And anytime that we had a question, we would contact Frances by email, and she was just amazing. She helped us out, got those questions answered for us. You deal with other places, they call, and you just feel like all they want to do is they just want to get the money, kind of take a piece of you. Working with Larry and Frances, it really felt they were helping us the whole way. They were very clear on what our intentions were and what we wanted, and they helped us meet our goals. So by doing this, much lower interest rate, everything is paid off, and now everything is so much more comfortable month to month. I'm Andy Cleveland from Appleton, Wisconsin, and I saved over $1,000 a month with SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
SaveWithConrad.com.